Hey, welcome to Broken World Entertainment. And if you haven't heard the news by now, Deadpool 3 just dropped a major announcement. Hugh Jackman is coming back as Wolverine in Deadpool 3. Yep. So Ryan Reynolds broke the news via every social media platform you could find. Literally every single one of them. And he basically blew up the internet. So, currently, on his YouTube channel, which I did not realize Ryan Reynolds had a YouTube channel, but he does, the Deadpool update is on there. It came up 14 hours ago. It has 5.7 million views. That's a hell of a lot of views. It has 576,000 upvotes to 1.9 thousand downvotes. So, what's the feeling on a Deadpool 3 under the MCU Disney banner and Hugh Jackman coming back as Logan, Wolverine? I've got very mixed feelings on all of it, to be honest. One of the issues with Jackman coming back is, are they going to do it through the whole multiverse crap? So, the first issue I have, we'll go with the Wolverine aspect of it. One is, will it be through multiverse, all that kind of stuff? That's the only way I can really see it, unless they do something which I'll bring up with the actual Deadpool part of the story. But the big issue I have with him coming back is when he was promoting Logan, he very much stated that was his last outing. Now, how many times have we heard actors say, I'm done with the role, and they come back for one or two more? Look at Daniel Craig after Spectre. He said he turned around on the red carpet for the Spectre premiere and said he'd rather slit his wrists than do another Bond movie. And sure enough, he came back and did another Bond movie. But the issue with Jackman coming back to be this character was the fact that when he spoke about Logan being his last run, was that he said it was the perfect end to that story. And that, in his own words, said to come back at some stage to play the role again would tarnish that movie. So what's changed? Something's changed, because he's coming back. Now, obviously he's coming back in Deadpool, but he's still coming back as Wolverine. So I'm confused as what convinced him to come back. I would assume a lot of it had to do with Ryan Reynolds, but I'd also say Disney reversed about 20 dump trucks of money to his house. Please? Yeah, okay. And to be honest, at this stage, none of us really want to see someone else play Wolverine. He's been Wolverine since 2000 on the screen. Obviously he got the role before that. I think he was actually offered the role in 97, maybe 98. The movie came out in 2000. So he's played Wolverine. He's been on screen as Wolverine for 23 years. He's synonymous now with the character of Wolverine, the same way Schwarzenegger is the Terminator, Stallone is Rambo, Bruce Willis is John McClane. That type of stuff. And that's how it would be the same say Batman 1989 came out. It doesn't matter whether the story's changed and stuff, but take Batman 1989, Tim Burton's Batman, right up to The Dark Knight Rises. Now imagine, it doesn't matter whether the director's changed and all that, but imagine if Michael Keaton played Batman from 89 up and through The Dark Knight Rises. We would have such an issue then when the Batman was announced, or even when Affleck was announced. We'd be like, no. Michael Keaton's Batman. He's played him since the 80s, man. You can't change it now. And that's, I think, how we all feel about Wolverine right now. It's like Hugh Jackman is Wolverine in all of our eyes. So how they handle it will be interesting. Now, as for the actual Deadpool 3, in general, how do I feel? Very, very apprehensive. I loved the first two films. I know there's a lot of people who don't like them or think they're a bit overrated. I loved them. I had a great time. I mean, I've never laughed so hard. Particularly me and my brother went to see it together. And not just were we laughing so hard, the entire cinema was laughing that hard that we almost missed the dialogue with the little hand scene. And you think they're never topping that in the second movie. It was the same joke just with his legs, but it still worked. It's like, Jesus Christ, this is weird. Here's my issues though. Disney is obviously the issue. Now, they did say it will be R-rated. But I don't think Kevin Feige himself has said 100% that it'll be R-rated. This thing needs to be hard R. You can't go PG-13 with it. You know, don't do that. Go PG-13 and then say, oh, we pushed it right to the limit. No, if you pushed it to the limit, you'd be R-rated. It has to be R-rated. And it being slotted right in the middle of Phase 5, I don't know. It would be so strange to see all these PG-13s, PG-13, and then boom, an R-rated, and then back to PG-13. It would throw off the flow for the Phase 5. Fucking Phase 5 is even around by then. Because this movie's not supposed to come out now until... is it November? I'm not sure, but it's 2024. Second problem, or issue I have, and something that needs to be addressed. Don't, and I'll say that again, don't connect it to the MCU. I know it's now officially part of the MCU, and they're touting it as Deadpool's first outing in the MCU. Don't connect it to the wider picture of the MCU. Don't connect it. Like, don't have him exist in the same universe as Shang-Chi and Captain America and WandaVision and all that. I think this is much more suited to being its own thing. Sure, you could have him in there ripping the piss out of all of those properties. I'm sure he will. But I think you need to keep it separated from the MCU. You really do. I just don't think it's going. And that's where my issue with how Wolverine will be in the movie is that they're probably going to obviously link it to the rest of the MCU, and it'll be Doctor Strange or something, and a portal opening, and boop, Wolverine, yay. But I think you really need to keep it out of the mix. Sure, it's a part of Phase 5, but it can be a standalone in Phase 5. That'll make no difference. And the third problem, which is the biggest issue I would have with the whole thing, and that's Kevin Feige and Disney themselves. Keep Feige and everyone in Disney and the powers that be as far away from this project as possible. Do not let Feige get his fingerprints all over this thing, or else it will be doomed. Just look at the projects he's had 100% control over in the MCU. They're all they're shit. They are woke shit. Phase 4 is a failure. It's a they're trying to champion it. It's a disaster for Marvel, which is why I'm saying they're saying this movie will be 2024. You'll be lucky if there's even superhero movies still being brought out at that stage, the way it's going right now. Even Black Adam with The Rock, he's been signed on to be this character for like 15 years or something now, and the movie's finally coming out. We finally getting glimpses of it. It's finally maybe the vehicle that will bring Henry Cavill back as Superman, and apparently it's tracking to do terrible. Now, tracking numbers, pay no real attention to them. You know, they always kind of lowball it, so when it comes in a bit over that, they're like, ooh, it did better than expected. But if something like Black Adam with The Rock in it, people are kind of going, I couldn't care. What is going to happen now? Obviously, people are interested because Wolverine's coming back and stuff. But if you get Feige and Disney properly getting involved with it, well, no, it's not going to work. Like, Reynolds has so much control over that character, and rightfully so, because look at what he's done for her. You know, those boat movies were made for 75 million, and look at the money they brought in. Yeah, Tim Miller, the director of the first one, he wanted to double the budget for the second one. They were like, no, we need to make it for the same amount. But he wanted this big blockbuster, and they told him no, so they fired him. If Kevin Feige walks in there and takes control and starts the like, the butting of heads between him and Reynolds will be crazy. It really will. So that's my issues. Keep Feige and Disney away from it. Don't add it to the MCU. Like, the timeline, basically, in sense of it existing in the universe with Iron Man and She-Hulk and all that stuff. And it has to be a hard R. And I really think we're going to end up with a PG-13 one. Don't forget, Venom was said to be R-rated until like a month before it was to be released. And they were like, oh, no, it's PG-13. Don't be surprised if they do the same thing with this. But I'm still curious as to what it will be and how Wolverine will be a part of it. So let us know, are you interested? Are you nervous? What's your feelings on it? Let us know in the comments. And other than that, I'll leave it there for this one. Cheers. Catch you in the next one.